The time is now, the place is here. Hello and welcome, of course, to Eswatini TV, a live coverage of Temidlalo on Monday, the 20th of April. The year is 2020. We take this huge opportunity, big occasion, to wish His Majesty King Eswatini III a happy 52nd birthday. We say, Your Majesty, happy birthday, Kulamlisa, we now Pagati. Now, the world of sport, of course, continue to be affected with the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, but that will not, of course, stop us to look at some of the things that maybe we didn't give so much attention during the day-to-day basics when it comes to sport fraternity. Now, on this program, what we normally do, we just pick one or two people from different sporting codes and just talk to them and see the initiative, where it's coming from, if it's a sport personnel, if it's an organization. This is something that we keep doing. Today, in the special occasion, we'll be having one of the famous basketball star in the capital city of Mbabane, known as Mr. Piri. He's going to tell us more about his career. Who is he? And then talk about his academy. I think when you are based in Mbabane, mostly you have a child, or you are a young one who is so much into a sport activity, especially basketball. Then you have been involved in his academy. That can be attested. Then we'll also talk to him about his ambitions. We talked about his journey in the industry and how far it is going. Now, we also talk about sports. We always want to think of those who involve sport, or those who support sport financially. We talk about sponsors. These are the people who make it happen. Will it be tournament? Will it be in terms of contribution to whatever they do? MTN has been one of the company, of course, to take center stage when it comes to sponsorship. One of their senior a person to take the front seat, Meshak Masego, is going to be in the studio, of course, to give us those tips, the ins and outs on how the organization deals with these issues pertaining to sports. We know that when you talk about cycling, we know that they're involved. Golf, they're involved. You talk about basketball, and of course, the league being them, they are the title sponsor of the MTN Premier League. So he's going to give us a beautiful background about all that. But knowing that he is also a sporting he practices sport. There is a sport that he plays, and then we'll also touch on that. Who is he? What does he play during his own time? Linda Thamini, the in-house expert, of course, will not miss the occasion. He's also going to be in the studio just to give us the ins and outs of how the sport fraternity is surviving under these circumstances. All that in the next 57 minutes or so is going to be brought to you live here on Eswatini TV with your host, of course, Fabrice Umsonera. I'm already in the company of Mzwake Piri, the basketball star I talked about. Piri, welcome you on the program, and I think it's not your first time being here in the studio, and we welcome you and we say it's good to always have you in the studio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. There is this routine that we're practicing, to show that we are in line with what His Majesty's government, together with the World Health Organization, are trying to teach us. Whenever there is a guest, we sensitize. We should make sure that he does get sanitized, to make sure that he is safe. He could be the one bringing the virus, or wherever he's coming from, or you could be the one who is safe, and then you contact me here in the studio, and then due to the ongoing conversation, something can happen. Now, are we already in the mood? We're talking about the situation. Maybe before I just take you into the entire discussion about you, about the career, what do you think about this the disease, this famous disease, this pandemic that is claiming so many people's lives?
Well, it is something which caught us off guard, and something which we're not expecting in a way. And we didn't even know what to do, and at the same time we're still trying to find out what can happen, and to be able to sort this issue out. But I think in the long run, I think we'll go back to normal.
And of course, at some point we talked to him, and he's going to give us some of the effects, the impact, the negative impact that this disease, of course, has had on his career and on his academy, of course, that he's running. But currently, let's talk about you. When you talk about Mr. Piri in the industry, who is Piri? And maybe just a brief background. Where was he born, and then where did he grow up, and then how did he become one of the top basketball stars that we have in the country?
Mzwake Piri is a young basketball player who was born in Hlangano, raised in Manzini, and currently working in Mbabane. He used to school at Salesian Primary School. That's where he started playing basketball at the age of 10 years old, till to date. And now he's a basketball coach and also a teacher, running, of course, a basketball academy at Moban Club.
And I think at some point I've heard that there are two special letters in your life. Is the D and the K, and it's already on the t-shirt. We'll talk about that. Dankilen. So when you talk about joining the industry, the sport at the age of 10, what are we saying? That's when you started to say, this is my direction. You know, at that point, I remember for us at school, you would know it's sometimes you find yourself running, athletics, sometimes football. For you at the age of 10, you knew it's what I want to do. It's basketball.
Well, it's not like that. I was just an all-rounder athlete. I used to run, play soccer and volleyball and everything. But one time...
But this is not at the age of 10. But we'll catch up to that. Yes. I'm looking at what's on the screen. Yes, keep on. Yeah.
I started off being a soccer player. I was very good in soccer. Pinda Pindrix was a class behind me. And then one of my friends actually asked me to come and join basketball. Then I just went to try it. I didn't actually like it, but when I got in there, because I was so quick and, you know, I had hops and all of that, so he was just like, dude, you know, you just have to continue doing basketball because this is your place. And that's where I just got stuck till today.
So at the age of 10, you still at Salesian High School? Yeah. So take us through now. How do we get to you having not the academy per se? So I want to believe at this point in time, on the picture I was seeing on the screen, you're already a star of Dankilen. So if you can maybe estimate, what are we talking about? How old were you on that picture?
This is I think 2 years back, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Dankilen Basketball Academy has already been established. Yes.
So at the age of 10, you keep on playing. So when did you join them? I mean, as one of their key players, when did we fall in love with the club and end up having all those initiatives that comes with loving the club and the academy? So take us through to the journey. Now we become, should I say, semi-professional basketball player, or should I say full-time professional basketball player?
Well, it started at Concrete Hoops. We used to have Shoma Mashalelo used to come and run some basketball camps and all of that. So for me, I just got all those basics and fundamentals of basketball. And I remember I used to have a booklet where I would write every drills we were doing in each and every station. And I told myself that one day I just want to be like those guys and be able to help other kids and improve in basketball and other things in life. And that's why I ended up forming up the club and also the basketball academy.
Okay, maybe just before we get to the academy and then everything. Now, you're playing for the team now.
Yes.
Tell us about that, and then because we're still talking about you still playing at Salesian at some point, so we haven't touched on you moving to Mbabane. How did you become to be a Mbabane based citizen for now? And then let's talk about now, how did you get yourself familiarized with the club and everything?
All right. Maybe if I can start by when I went to Mozambique to play for my Tolinas professionally in 2009. Then 10 I came back. Then that's when I went to join Manzini Steels, and I played with them until I left them in 2017 because I'd already groomed my young ballers. I felt like it was time for me to now join them since they were already going into the A League. So I just wanted to strengthen up the team and all of that. So that's how I then become a Dankilen basketball player, moving from.
Which year was this? I mean, I think some of these familiar faces I'm looking at. When was this? The place I can see is at Mavuso, but maybe the game you're being part of and everything.
This is 2017, if I'm not mistaken. 2016, 2017. These are the young ballers who actually formed the Dankilen club. Yeah, coming into the one which we have right now.
True.
Yeah.
Wow, it's quite exciting. So you were talking about now you're back from Mozambique, then you're hitting the ground running.
Yes, from Mozambique to Stills, then from Stills to Dankilen, and Dankilen started in the B League, went to the A League, and they went back to the B League again. That's when I went to play with them in the B League. Then we won the champion. We became the champions.
Joined them in the B League.
In the B League.
To take them into the A League.
To the A League.
Wow.
And we won from the B League, and we went to the A League. And when you go to the A League, we actually became the runners-up
Wow.
In the following year, which was so B League 2018, then runners up in 2019.
All right. Now, I recall 2016.
2016.
We talk on the phone. You're saying you've an academy now.
Yeah.
And you've got few kids, so it would be nice to come and see how it's going.
Yeah.
That was the first edition, and I think you had 23 or something. By the time in 2017, you had hit over 100.
Yeah.
How was that convincing? How did it work?
Actually, it's even I've had camps before that. It's just that that time, that's when I was able to have you guys come and be there with us. It started. I started off with 15 kids. Then it grew to the 100, which you've already been seeing. And
from what we're seeing on the screen, I think it's beyond 100.
Exactly.
And I think the polish up and everything to show.
Yeah.
I think they like when they come and they see the mood and the spirit when it's happening like that.
Definitely. I think it's because also of the basics and fundamentals which we are giving to them, and the life skills and all of that, not just only focusing on basketball only, but also life in general. Yeah. So that's what made them to bring up their friends, because they are actually benefiting something out of this program.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about these kids, I think I've seen the t-shirts, the Dunky Land t-shirts, and so we talk about these kids. You get them you get to coach them and teach them some of the skills every holidays.
When schools are open, I meet them Fridays and Saturdays. So there's like private sessions and stuff. Then when schools are closed, of course, we run the camp. Then once the camp it's finished, then the other days we're able to just continue with the same routine. I mean, having them day by day and one-on-one sessions and all of that.
In terms of maybe we're not seeing that from the pictures, but what I like, it's both gender. There's male, there's female. Now the age restriction, you don't have any age restriction. Anyone joins, or what's the story?
We don't have an age restriction. We actually start from like age 3 all the way to 60. As long as you want to play basketball, I'm able to teach you basketball.
Wow. Lovely stuff. Now, I've always had a question when you talk about Dunky Land. Like I said earlier on, it's 2 letters, D and K.
Yeah.
Well, take us, what's the meaning of the word Dunky Land?
Just to cut it short, Dunky Land came from Kosasa Games in Zambia when I was playing for national team under 18. I was dunking a lot. Like every time I get the ball, I'll just dunk it
Like
by the lane. So I always dunk the ball by the lane, and I had the Zambian fans shouting "Dunky Lane," and I was just like, oh, I actually like that. So when I came back home, that name came back, and that's when I started forming the basketball team and stuff. And it means before it was I finished what I started, because every time I was flashing the ball, it was going in. So now, since I'm not alone, I'm working with other people, which means that we finish what we started. So whatever we start, we have to finish.
So these are the basics. When you're talking about how to dribble, just the basics on how to handle the ball.
Yes, we start them at this age, and doing some certain dribbles, control dribble, power dribble, and speed dribble, and all of that, just for them to know what to do exactly and get the feel of basketball and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Lovely stuff. They keep on improving. And let's talk about maybe the colors, red and blue. Why the choice?
I really don't know. Like
It's just
yeah.
All right. Now, when you talk about the support, maybe you the founder and you the director of this. What type of support are we talking about in terms of financially? Who is behind you? Who's making sure that this thing is not falling apart?
Actually, it was from my pocket. I remember one instructor from Finland who told me that you gotta use what you have. Then the rest will just find you along the way. We've had a couple of sponsors like Logico and Momentum pitching in, helping us there and there with the vest and the food and prizes and all that. And we really appreciate them for doing such, giving us such a support.
Currently going forward, you're still on your own?
Yes, I'm still on my own, and we eventually registered as a foundation because it's a non-profit organization. Exactly. Yeah. So we are looking at people who can, companies or people who can be able to come and join with us, and you know, in grooming these youngsters.
Another thing I noted is that as I look at these youngsters, especially these are so young, under the age of probably 10, 8 or 7. What I like the most is that they need to be, you need to have patience. There's no frustration when they don't do it right. You don't get frustrated. You have to be patient.
Definitely. I love kids. Honestly, I love kids, and I love working with young kids. I learn a lot from them. And these kids you're seeing right now, they actually, some of them, I'll say 95%, they actually go to Usu high school, and they recently became champions in the St. John's tournament under 14. This is one of them who's been playing in that tournament, and they've grown. They started with me at a very young age, 7, 6, 5, and 10. Yeah.
Now, you said that you keep them on Friday and Saturday, and then during the holidays take them the entire week. Now, there's COVID, and the entire world is being affected by this pandemic. To you, Piri, how are you affected, and how is it affecting your industry? I mean, the academy. Then we'll talk to you about how it is also affecting you personally. But beginning with the academy and everything that you're doing for the youth.
It has really affected the academy a lot, because I can't meet with my kids. We can't even do a one-on-one. You know, I just have to make sure that they are safe. They are at home. So what I normally try to do is like do a couple of drills on my own. Then I'll be able to send them that, okay, today you can work on this and stuff like that. All they need is just a slab, or even if it's a gravel flooring and stuff, so they can be able to do all these drills which I've been teaching them, and the ones which I'm actually sending to them through WhatsApp and all that, as we have a group.
Maybe just before I let you go, in terms of frustration and how, wow, this is good, I like this kid. When you look at maybe the COVID-19 currently, these guys, before they come back, it's going to be quite tough for them to maintain this skill that they had before the COVID-19. So how much energy do you think it might take you to get them to the best level where they were at before?
Actually, what I like about my kids is that, you know, I instill discipline in them when I coach them. That even if I'm not there, they should be able to do the drills, so that by the time I come back, we don't start, where we started. We don't go back there. We just, from where we ended, going upwards. So as we speak, I know they're practicing as we send the videos through WhatsApp. So when they come back, they'll still be
personally up there. As a basketball player, are you affected, and how do you keep fit?
Well, for me, luckily, I have a basketball court at St. Mark's, so I'm able to just go and shoot some hoops and, do some jogging, sprints, and, I have some weights, so I'm able to work out a bit and stuff like that, and also do aerobics, since I'm also an aerobic instructor, so, I just get in my room and just, do those punches and kicks and all of that.
Wow, there you have it. Thank you very much. I think, Piri, having you today, it's going to be more, encouraging. As you can see on the picture, you are still, encouraging young people, of course, at the age of whatever they might be at the age of, just to keep fit, and the initiative of having an academy. I think there's only one in Bawani, and then Andy also has one in Manzini. And I think at some point I asked him, Andy, who do you think is doing better between you and Piri? And Andy was like, no, we bring the talent together one day. And I think I want you guys to have to be together at the same venue. And then I have a specific question for you to say, well, who thinks is doing the best? And then how do you think you can go beyond and go to other places, the likes of Stake, all those places that also have talent? And thank you very much for the initiative and the passion for the sport.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, there you have it. That's Mr. Piri, of course, the director and the founder of the Duncan Academy, of course, talking to us about how far the academy is doing, and personally himself, how is the basketball going, and how he started being part of this industry, and how much it has affected him. As he mentioned it, that the ongoing pandemic has really affected his plans, and all the things that he's doing for the academy. And of course, there is a hope that through the way he is communicating with the boys and the girls, they can of course, improve, and hopefully when the situation is better, they can get them, still get to their best. That was Mr. Pete in the studio. Now, up next is going to be Meshach Masego to give us some few tips, the ins and outs of how to handle tournaments financially. But before we go to Mr. Meshach Masego, there's a short video, I would say, that some of the well-known or faces of Eswatini TV Sports, of course, joined government and of course the entire kingdom in showing how you can still stay in the lane of trying to be safe, staying home and do all the requirements they are giving us. Linda Mas, of course, in that video is telling us how you should keep clean by washing your hands effectively. So take a look at this, and after that, Meshach Masego is going to be in the studio.
Litiko letempilo kwesixwayisile ngesifo lesivelile kulamalanga i-coronavirus COVID-19 bagcizelela kakhulu ukuhlanzeka kwetandla lokumcoka ukuthi itandla tigezwe nawugeza tandla ke bashilo ukuthi tigeze lokungenani ama-seconds lam-20 ngemanti lagijimako lanesipho. Lokunye ke labasixwayise ngawo ukuthi latingalweni lingahlala leligciwane ukuthi ngakuthi letingalo nato utiwashe ungashinji itandla kuphela for 20 seconds nalamkhathi sinwetandla ugeze nakhona litawufa ligciwane kanjalo. Ngiyacela ma-loyal viewers, geza intandla, nihlale ekhaya, nihlale niphephile, sitayinqobe i-COVID-19.
Now, from the moment it was announced that there will be no sporting activities due to the ongoing COVID-19, we all felt that. But imagine how much work you can do in your house just using your chair. It could be anything you have in your house. Take a look at this. From my own chair, I'm able to exercise 30 minutes per day, from biceps to triceps to my abs. But what are you waiting for? It is doable, it is possible. I'm able to do all the work. No matter how much time it will take me, I will stay active. Now, if you're a soccer player, an athlete, a gym instructor, anyone who loves exercising, use this time. It is doable in the house, in your own time. Stay safe. Together, we'll win this war.
Imidlalo yonke imisiwe eveni. Hlala ekhaya utivikele kulesifo i-COVID-19. Lokumcoka ukuthi uhlale ekhaya. Sitawudlala imidlalo hulumende sekazivumele.
Kulesikhathi lapho khona umhlaba ula nemkhuhlane i-coronavirus, hulumende kwakuleli ucele wona eMaswati ukuthi akahlale ekhaya alandzele timiso nemihambo yenhlangano yomhlaba emhlabeni. Kanike ngabe mbukeli ukuthi ngakala ukuthi uphume uye ekhaya ngoba ke uye emsebentini. Hlala ukufake i-face mask. Kanike ngabe kubita ukuthi ukhwehlelela emkhonweni. Sitawubonana mbukeli mayibuya tona Temidlalo ngabe sitawulandzela tona tinqumo ta hulumende. Stay home, stay safe.
So lokukhutsatwa kona ke ukuthi hlale ekhaya uhlanzekile ugeze itandla.
Keep fit, stay home.
Ungayi ngaphandle kuyodlala imidlalo.
Hlala ugcoke i-face mask.
There you have it. Of course, messages are being spread everywhere in the kingdom to try to ensure that we do follow all the regulations that are being displayed to try and fight against the ongoing, the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. I'm already in the company of Meshach Masego from, MTN Eswatini. We'll get that from him. And of course, he's going to give us a brief breakdown about sports sponsorship. We know that as an organization, they are so much involved in supporting different sporting causes. You talk about cycling, basketball, golf. You talk about football. They are the title sponsor for the league. You talk about other sporting causes I might not have mentioned. They are everywhere. But before we get to that, he is in the studio. I will, exercise the same rule, Mr. Meshach. As we greet you, we have an exercise. I will try to make sure that you are clean. Like I was telling Mr. Piri earlier on, is that you might be the one, who is safe, and I might be the one to affect you, or you might be the one bringing any signs or symptoms. Then you share it with us. But the same applies to me, in as much as we might have welcomed you in a different way. Now. Majority of the viewers, they don't know that Mr. Meshach is also someone who is involved in sports. I think my last pictures when I was, browsing, not that I was, stalking you, but I've noted that you're involved in golf. So tell us about the industry. How did you pick golf, and then how did it go in terms of you becoming a golf player?
Thank you, Fabrice. Good evening to the viewers at home. Yeah, I've been involved with sports for quite some time. I think more than anything, I've been in the administration of sports, and I've worked with companies that support sports.
That's you.
So I think I've been involved quite a lot in soccer. I think for quite some time. Golf, it's a sport that I developed a passion for lately. I think something like 3-4 years ago. I started playing golf, and I actually discovered that it's actually a sport that I'm able to play, and I loved it. Yeah, so I continued to play golf, and I think it's one sport that that does a lot in actually rejuvenating one's mind and actually taking away stresses and all that.
Mr. Misha, I think for the viewers in Japan, we know when you talk about golf, there's 2 categories. You have to be an amateur first, then you move to professional. So, not to try to rank you, but where are you still by now? Are you still dominating the amateur level, or you have already joined the professional level?
Okay, for me, I really do it for just to while away time.
True.
I'm an amateur
for now.
And I think I'll be an amateur for some time. I'm not looking at being a professional and all that, because I do it for fun. I do it to while away time. I do it to just to restart the mind, because I do a lot of work during the week at work, so I need something to just take my mind off for a bit. So the golf does work the magic for me.
Quickly, maybe before we get to the main reason why you're in the studio, I'm looking at you, how the amount of time you take before you take your shot. You have to make sure you get it there. Nice shot, by the way. The question will be for anyone who's probably a journalist, anyone who's interested, why golf? You could have picked something. You could have picked tennis. You could have picked football. You could have picked basketball. You are sponsoring all those sporting courts. Why golf?
I think golf. I think it's one sport that is less physical. Not that I'm not. I don't like being physical. It's less physical. It deals a lot with the mind. When you someone who does a lot of work, and you need something just to take your mind away, something that's not too strenuous, I think golf is the one. So it does work for me, just to rejuvenate the mind mainly. That's what I use it for, rather than to. I think the physical exercise then comes as a bonus for this.
There you have it. Now we get into the juicy stuff of the evening. Now, MTN as an organization, you are the front man to take the seat in terms of the sponsorship. You are sponsoring close to 6 sporting courts. When you talk about basketball, football, cycling, golf, I'm not sure if I left anything behind, but there are even those daily tournaments you find that you're involved in that are not long time sponsorship. But let's talk about the importance of a sponsorship. When you talk about a sponsorship as an organization, and you personally, how do you get to be involved into so many sporting courts, and the importance of a sponsorship itself?
Thank you, Fabrice. For MTN is an organization that has been here in the country since '98. I think now it's about 22 years.
True.
And within the 22 years, MTN has been the biggest friend of sport for like 20 years now. Especially soccer. I think MTN is in its 20th anniversary this year, sponsoring the MTN Premier League. And then there's all the other sporting courts. Golf, I think we've exceeded 10 years now. Cycling, I think it's 7 years.
You even have a club.
And then we also recently joined basketball. I think this is the third edition. Yes. So basically, sports is very important for us as a brand. First, we know and we are aware that the country on its own has a lot of different sporting codes, and we as a company, one of the big companies in the land, find it something that we need to do to support the populace in terms of it being involved in the different sporting codes. More than it just MTN supporting its customers, we are supporting the passion. Sports is one side that when one does it, he does it with passion. So MTN is very passionate about passion. So where there is passion, you will definitely find MTN. And we see this in all the sporting codes that we are involved in. More than just sports, all the other sponsorships outside sports, it's also all that is passion. So MTN is actually everywhere.
True.
Everywhere you go, so we are involved in it.
Just to catch you, Meshach, when you talk about being everywhere, I think last week you were involved in something of 7 million as an organization to sports, sporting fraternity, to different sports. Maybe just to unpack that, to say that we're not saying maybe you can tell us you gave them money, but just the initiative to see that during this so-called painful moment, you are still looking after these sporting codes or different associations, to say, you know what, let's just put something they can also hang on while their time is moving with this pandemic.
Yeah, Fabrice, this pandemic came at a very difficult time, and every one of us, all organizations around the world, not just in this country, no one actually anticipated or expected that such a pandemic will hit the country so hard. And for us at MTN, we were just preparing to get to announce to the public what package we have, what package we have for this year for sports, but. Yeah, this pandemic came and disrupted all those plans. But nonetheless, we are waiting for this to pass, and we are confident that it will get to the end, and we will continue to support sports. I think the 7 million that you spoke about, that's just a summation of what MTN has been actually investing in sports historically. So we had not really yet announced our 2020 package to sports. So it's something that we were just about to announce when the lockdown was announced, and all sporting codes were stopped. Remember that in January we announced I think over 10 million in music and arts. And then we're just about to announce our involvement and investment in sports, but everything came to a halt. So I think the 7 million you're talking about is not necessarily our investment for 2020 per se. It is, I think, something that we've been involved in. I think even last year it was around the same amount. So for 2020, I think it's something that we're still going to announce. Hopefully, this pandemic subsides, and we are going to announce exactly what we are investing this.
Now, here's the question. Now, I'm not putting on a sport. The Premier League of Eswatini, I think for the viewers, especially football viewers, they were here last week. There's nothing wrong, they said. We're talking about this issue, the COVID. The league had stopped. So obviously, you are the title sponsor. Contracts have been signed. Nothing can be changed. And of course, as from where they're standing, they can't take a front stand to say, I will feel like the league can start and everything. But as a sponsor, when you look at the situation, is it in your way, is in your heart to say, at this point in time, if the pandemic continues up to August, September, because there is an issue of to say, if the league ends in August, what happens then? We start another one the next weekend. So have you maybe as a sponsor looked at a situation where you might say, you know what, I started past Gabush. Young Buffaloes, but we're starting afresh. So is it there? I'm not saying maybe confirm that you will start, but at some point we'll see it a possibility.
Fabrice, I think I would mention that I said when we started that this pandemic just hit all of us unaware. And the league was just about to get to a finish now in May. I think we're just a few games away from the finish line. Unfortunately, we had to stop. In terms of what the way forward is right now, I can't really be sure. I know that even worldwide, it's something that hasn't been confirmed. We await FIFA to guide in terms of how leagues need to go ahead from now. we await our local mother body, the Football Association, to also give some guidance, with of course guidance from the region, from the world, and of course our partners, the PLE. So for us as a sponsor, I think more than anything, I would say we are dependent on guidance from our partners, from the PLE, from Football Association, from the regional football body, and from the world body, which is FIFA. So we really, at the moment, can't say we have a position on what is going to happen. So we just patiently waiting and praying for this pandemic to end, and hopefully be able to end our season on time, so that we can start the coming 2020-2021 season.
Maybe to catch you, I don't know how the contracts look in terms of you and the Premier League, but if we were to start afresh, ningalimala kanganani as an organization? Not to say 300 million or anything, but how much would it affect you as a title sponsor? If anything, the decision comes from FIFA and the Football Association would say it's in as a season, how much affected can you be as a title sponsor?
Fabrice, I think the effect will be a lot in terms of not just for us as a sponsor. I think for the teams, even for the PLE, even, because we've all spent a lot of money since August when the season started, and the league was at its peak right now. So having to start the league all over again will be unfortunate. But if we have to get to that point, we'll need to sit together with our long-time partner, the PLE, and just craft a way forward on how we are going to manage a restart of a season if anything like that would happen. It's not something that we've seen in the past, not anywhere in the world. No one has experienced it, so we can't even seek for from those that have experienced it, or anyway, we'll just need to get to see, because if it restarts here, and I'm confident that if it has to restart in Eswatini, it's not only in Eswatini where it will have to restart. I'm sure in a lot of other countries worldwide. So we'll need to learn from others and just take whatever learnings and face it as it comes, and then decide how we move forward.
Lovely. And of course, the majority of people are answered on that. I think before the campaign, maybe of trying to award players was taking the highest, they're taking the peak, monthly players and everything. Now, there's also the issue of awarding coaches as well, to say this is something that you are starting to plan to do. And maybe I want to believe it's something that you're going to start to look at. MTN Champs of Champs and all winners. Or of course, these are some of the activities that you are involved in as an organization. Now, when you talk about now awarding, I think that's where I wanted to go when it comes to coaches, because if you pick a player, then we need to get to the coaches. Maybe the initiative, also how it came, and you decided to say, you know what, you feel like coaches also should be acknowledged as a title sponsor.
Yeah, Fabrice, I'm sure you are also taking this from what is happening in our neighboring countries. We started this with the PLE. The aim was just to encourage the players to put in the effort and the energy in the field of play, to ensure that they give us quality football that the fans will appreciate. So of course, as the years go by, different needs come by. I think we also introduced the hat trick, something that hadn't been there for quite some time. It had positive spins in the field of play, and of course outside the field of play. So the issue of coaches is something that has been talked about for quite some time now. It's a valid point that we were just starting to discuss with the PLE. We really, I can't say we have reached a point where I can say we are now starting, but it's a discussion that is on the table. It's a discussion that we'll take forward and see how we improve the sport for the coming season, because we always aim to improve, bring something that was not there in the previous season. So it's some of those things that we'll discuss and see how best we can do it, because the coaches themselves, they need that appreciation so that they can continue to offer and give the players what they need to get for them to perform in the field of play.
Wow, that is very much well answered. Of course, you will look at other platforms, and of course, I think at this point in time, even the media houses are answered. Maybe there is all those moments will be looked at to say, Linda Dlamini was the journalist of the month. I'm just speak to Linda because he will be a bit offended when he comes in the studio. Now, the last point I wanted to touch on you, Mr. Meshach, is that I think we're one of the league that awards the season twice. I'm still on football. Maybe other sporting course, yes, I also get. We awards twice, the first round and the second round. I think at some point one will ask themselves, the difference is close. The first round is 350,000, and then the second round is around. So sometimes the person asks himself to say, the person who won the second round, you didn't get the complete 1 million as a champion because you got the half of the remaining balance of the 350.
Not really,
Yes.
Fabrice. The first round champion gets the 350, and then the final winner at the end of the season gets $1 million. It's a total of 1.350.
Yes,
that's the package for if you get the first prize, the first round prize, and the second round prize combined, you will walk away with 1.350. In a total package. And we
so I'm still on the initiative of thinking of awarding someone for the first round.
Okay.
That's where I was to say it's these are few cases we don't have everywhere in the world. But then what happens if the person now who, in most cases, the person who won the first round is the person who win the second round? So it's a double win then for the person.
Not necessarily, Fabrice. It's I think it's just that I can't remember when that a team actually wins the first round but doesn't get to win the final round. We've had that in recent years.
I think Bavani Highlanders once did.
Exactly. So the first round incentive is actually, it's easy. It will be easy for the team to say, the league is just starting in August. We'll just wait and beef up the squad in January during the registration window, and then aim to run for the pole position at the end of the season. That does affect the standard of the game from the beginning. We want consistency. So for us to achieve consistency, we bring in these mid-season incentives to ensure that every team is fighting to get something midway, and actually if they didn't get anything midway, there's still a chance to get it at the end of the season. So it is meant to sustain the momentum, to sustain the quality and the whole momentum of the league, to ensure that the standard does go up.
Now, this is another last question. These are some of the questions that I've had in my mind, and I think public also do have in mind. Now, when you're a third-party sponsor of a tournament, Meshach, we would drive together on this one. So there's a specific place on the jersey of the club you take. If we're going together. So if you're a type 2 sponsor, if it's Absa Premiership, if it's Barclays Premier League or MTN Premier, there's a specific area you take on the sponsor. So, and then take us through that, and then maybe just quick, because it's the last question, and then for you, how is it going? And maybe if some clubs are not responding to that, and how is that coming to you? And I think you've noted that all those issues have been there before.
I hope I do understand your question.
Yes.
Saying that if you are a title sponsor, there is a certain space that you brand on. You occupy as a title
on
sponsor.
the jersey of a player.
And then there's
like on these
spaces where the team sponsors brand and all that. Fabrice, these things most of the time are contractual relationships between the sponsor and whoever is sponsored. So for us, we like the jerseys are actually branded MTN here on the hip and on the arm. Yes. On the arm, yeah. The front space is some teams take it with their sponsors, which is something that we do actually encourage for other companies to come contribute to the game. We are a business that always, when we do things, we call upon other corporates to come and join hands so that we can take the game forward. So teams that do have sponsors, they do occupy that space. I'm sure you know that MTN has never taken the front space.
True.
In the jerseys, because we do and actually do acknowledge that it's
it's a space that the teams can use to get some funding, because they do need a lot of funding to sustain the league to the end. Yeah.
There you have it. Meshach Maseko, thank you very much for being the student. I think you've answered so many questions, and I think there's nothing we talked about this before we came here. You just came and it was unplanned, and we talked about all these things. And I think there is more to talk about. If anything, the league is to be back. Is it basketball? Any tournament? We'll get more clarity from you here live. And yeah, thank you very much for this, the sponsorship you are giving to the clubs and then to the tournaments. It goes a long way.
Thank you, Fabrice. And we are still committed to supporting sport, to being the friend of sport, to supporting all the codes, the sporting codes that we are supporting as a business. We find it very important. And just to before we wrap up, just to ask the fans out there to stay home at this time. It's difficult times. It's times that we haven't seen in the past. So from us, MTN as a sponsor, we really do care about our fans, our teams, the players and everyone. So let's heed to government's direction to say, let's stay home, let's be safe, let's not be seen in the streets. Because it's better for us to stay home now so that we can come back to the field of play when all this ends. So I would just like to encourage everyone to stay home, be safe, and hope for the best, pray. This will end and we'll go back to the field of play and enjoy the beautiful sport.
There you have it. Meshach Maseko from MTN Eswatini, of course, giving us any type of situation that has to do with sponsorship and everything. So much to understand that if they are to change the rules and say the league will start over, they will be affected, of course, as the title sponsor of the MTN Premier League, including other sporting codes such as basketball and all those that they're involved in. And I think having him here has actually opened us to know that some of the things that we had as questions have been answered. And I think he's still welcome to join us in any case we have questions. Otherwise, the messages pertaining to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic and are still ongoing. We're taking a short break, of course, going through those inserts, of course, to trying to tell people that they should be in line with what government want us to do. Linda Dlamini, our in-house expert, is already in the studio, ready to give you some of the ins and outs of what's happening in the local football. After this, Linda Dlamini will be here.
Litiko letempilo kwesixwayisile ngesifo lesivelile kulamalanga i-coronavirus COVID-19 bagcizelela kakhulu ukuhlendeka kwetandla lokumcoka ukuthi itandla tigezwe nawugeza tandla ke bashilo ukuthi tigeze lokungenani ama-seconds lang-20 ngemanti lagijimako lanesipho. Lokunye ke lesixwayise ngako ukuthi latingalweni lingahlala leligciwane uthi ngakuthi letingalo nato utiwashe ungashinji itandla kuphela for 20 seconds nalamkhathi sinetandla ugeze nakhona litawufa ligciwane kanjalo. Ngiyacela ma-loyal viewers, gezani itandla, nihlale ekhaya, nihlale niphephile, sitayinqobe i-COVID-19.
Now, from the moment it was announced that there will be no sporting activities due to the ongoing COVID-19, we all felt that. But imagine how much work you can do in your house just using your chair. It could be anything you have in your house. Take a look at this. From my own chair, I'm able to exercise 30 minutes per day, from biceps to triceps to my abs. But what are you waiting for? It is doable, it is possible. I'm able to do all the work. No matter how much time it will take me, I will stay active. Now, if you're a soccer player, an athlete, a gym instructor, anyone who loves exercising, use this time. It is doable in the house, in your own time. Stay safe. Together, we'll win this war.
Imidlalo yonke imisiwe eveni. Hlala ekhaya utivikele kulesifo iCovid-19. Lokumcoka ukuthi uhlale ekhaya. Sitawudlala imidlalo uhulumende sekazivumela.
Kulesikhathi lapho khona umhlaba ula nemkhuhlane i-coronavirus, uhulumende kwakuleli ucele wona eMaswati ukuthi akahlale ekhaya alandzele timiso nemihambo yenhlangano yemhlaba emhlabeni. Kanike ngabe mbukeli ukuthi ngakala ukuthi uphume uye ekhaya ngoma ke uye emsebentini. Hlala ukufake i-face mask. Kanike ngabe kubita ukuthi ukhwehlelela emkhonweni. Sitawubonana mbukeli mayibuya tona Temidlalo ngabe sitawulandzela tona tinqumo ta hulumende. Stay home, stay safe.
so lokukhuthazwa kona ukuthi hlale ekhaya uhlanzekile ugeze izandla.
Keep fit, stay home.
Ungayi ngaphandle kuyodlala imidlalo.
hlala ugqoke i-face mask.
Keep home, keep safe. Keep safe, sorry. That's what the message is telling us. I'm already in the company of Linda Dlamini, Ngubusele Dlamini, Party, Umtsefu Kwana Vele Dlamini. We start with this. Dlamini, let's see how we wash it. Wow, it goes exactly with what we're seeing on air. Lendlela ukuthi zama ukuthi washangayo ukuthi vele udile neligciwane.
Fabrice ngiyabonga lelithuba lekubala ngibonga lelithuba ngibonga nemusa wasimakathe ukuphila bese ngakhulu ukutitfoba ngivusele imali viewers ekhaya.
Dlamini, yesterday to today, of course, we're still in the same period. It was His Majesty's birthday, and I think his more involvement in the sport and how he's been supporting us in the sporting fraternity, I think he plays a huge role.
Fabrice njengoba idolo bekulanga lelikhulu but ke ilanga lamuhla kube sesekuba holiday eSwatini ngicabanga ukuthi nathi singasho nje sithi khula mlisa khula mbangazitha khula bayethe wena waphakathi linolelo lutse mlisa. Fabrice uyasho ukuthi i-involvement yakhe lomutse kuma sports ngicabanga ukuthi ihamba inzima lenze kakhulu kunenge singabala singagcine. Fabrice uyakhumbula ngesikhathi kuba ne Kings Cup ku Orlando Pirates Kaizer Chiefs bafike badlala la emacembu asekhaya akhona kudominator sabona i-golf tournament Kings Cup for the first time ifika. Pennington was here the previous week atokhuluma nge-tournament yakhe ekuqala Kings Cup ngicabanga ukuthi nalapho imbube emhlaba wayibona ke Fabrice even the recent one the recent golf cup tournament it was raining Fabrice but imbube emhlaba yakhona ukuthi iphume iyohamba lapha iyothi offer ngicabanga ukuthi ungahamba wonke umhlaba Fabrice ngeke ukubone lo ukuthi a head of state angahamba ayothi offer aphume lina ngicabanga ukuthi info leyo lenkulu lekumele ukuthi eMaswati nathi nje dithombe yakhombisa ukuthi His Majesty King Mswati III abe lapha emvuleni. Nakhona bekusho iDonald Tibusiso beFabrice ukuthi imvula beyina kusho kona ukuthi lilanga beselivele liphumile. Ngicabanga nje njengoba sengishilo ukuthi la kuma sports kusukela ke vele Fabrice yakhumbula mhlambe ungete ukukhumbula kahle lo mlando.
And the tee off is always on sport. If you take a look at this shot,
vele nje igaluva kusukela Fabrice iyatiwa His Majesty ukuthi igaluva edinvo takhe beka vele nje ayidlala. Akusiyo ke igaluva kuphela Fabrice. About 30 or 15 20 years ago beka isihlangu semnekade legama lethi isihlangu semnekade ngicabanga ukuthi nawo ngasuyedlatiya lisho lokunengi kakhulu nangalabholeni bevele wathi ukuthi nayidlala nje isihlangu semnekade vele silo sitawufuna kwathi ukuthi sidlale njani isihlangu semnekade because yinvo vele beyisonzele kuye kakhulu.
Wow, there you have it. Dlamini already in the studio giving us information now. Dlamini, as you can see, this is of course one of the biggest tournaments that are around the country and in the region as well. And you talk about Kings Cup, I think it's one of the best. And you talk about golfers when they come from all the countries, outside the countries, to come and play the tournament. They tell you it's such an honor to be part of this big occasion.
I met one of the golfers kule pelile tournament. Info bekayitele yinye ukuthi abesedudane nengosi so uyabona ukuthi inkulu kanganani le tournament nayo involving yakhe His Majesty. Ngicabanga ukuthi akusiko lo kuphela imbube marathon nayo ngicabanga ukuthi silo sivamise kuba khona lapha enkuleni sive kasomhlolo senelawo ma aerobics after segijinyiwe kuningi kakhulu Fabrice ngonyama cup even iPTC charity cup uhlala liphuma langa kasomhlolo kuningi singabala singagcini Fabrice.
Wow, there you have it. We once again take this opportunity to say happy birthday, Your Majesty. Bayithe wona phakathi. Now, Dlamini, sengutfolile la studio. Khona la ngifuna khona khona. Uthi Meshak, if the league is to start afresh, they will lose a lot. Obviously, can't talk about how much they can lose, but they can be affected. I'm sure when you came in, you heard him talking. What did you pick from what he said?
But Fabrice, let's give credit to MTN Eswatini.
True.
It look like they are dwarfing all the other corporates, because it seems like every other sports they are sponsoring, you know. But that corporate
top notch.
yeah, but ngiyamuva mesha ukukhuluma mhlawumbe ukhuluma ngala kakhulu ngebhola vele ema sponsors atawulahlekelwa ileague itawulahlekelwa ngikhuluma ngePLE ema teams atawulahlekelwa kuningi kakhulu ngicabanga ukuthi vele lesifo lesifike ngesikhathi lesikabi kakhulu lamanye ama teams beka struggleish but siyethemba ukuthi ubona njenge sponsor na PLE but awuhlala phansi kube khona laba kukhulumisana kona mhlawumbe singasho sponsor cause bona bayi title sponsor bangasho bathi thina singamkhokha at least 1.5 million sisema teams awahambe aphile.
Master mina nawe siphila kanje as my journalist we get full details and sizama ukwakha something from it. Obviously diplomatically he said batawulanzela lokutawendeka between FIFA and Football Association ukuthi can they start afresh noma can again, but when you hear him properly is to say as an organization it is their wish ukuthi league pale. And remember they have basketball, they have which is also it's in their wish, which means they were getting somewhere. Like I said to him, contracts are signed. How many Yellow Sundays are left before the league ends? Probably it could be 4 or 5. You know, each month there should be a Yellow Sunday. So then you ask yourself, whatever can take place today. Which side are you on? Should you start afresh or should you think they're in the right positions?
For them as my sponsors, ukhuluma basketball, ba sponsorisha nakhona ileague basketball. Ngala ebholeni ngicabanga ukuthi nakhona kuneng abayakhe decision babodwa kuthi na ukuthi bahlale phansi na PLE babonisana ukuthi ngikuphi mhlambe lokungabahlangabeta bobabili angabe sePLE ulimala kakhulu noma le sponsor bese silimala kakhulu ngaleyo ndlela ngicabanga ukuthi khona phuma ne solution but ekugcineni kwa konke Fabrice ngihlale ngisho ngolamalanga imvelo emcoka kakhulu la ngilabadlali nokuthi nema fans are entertaining.
They have it. Sorry ngiyakufuna master inzaba ye branding yayesumsindfu and I think where you standing from you didn't do so much research on branding anything but what you know when a title sponsor owns a tournament they take a specific place they want. Where would see, you know, some teams are not honoring to that. But what did you get from maybe what he said compared to what Eswatini publicly would see if bona batsite utawukanza MTN of Premier League Eswatini umphinza umkhanze la bona vele lenzawo le lava sayifuna.
Fabrice ukwende kwaba clear msha ukuthi as a title sponsor bona kuhlala la nala
batikhetsela
kuphela then lama teams atafunela bona ama sponsors yabona lo kutawubeka la ngaphambili esifubeni ukuthi babekela ama sponsors abo kuyendeka Fabrice nabo South Africa even nakulana amanye amave eSouth Africa kunama tournaments incumbi kunangabe kune MTN 8 but Vodacom awusuki uyabona nala Eswatini MTN Swazi Mobile uyabona ngiyabekisa kuyangala ama teams ukuthi athole siphi sport sizeke sakubona the big 3 Fabrice akusiyimfihlo beka nayo Swazi Mobile la akhona MTN la so ngicabanga ukuthi ngile contract le title sponsor lesuke isayinile nale league ukuthi lama teams atawenda njani nangabe sekuditshwana nalama competitors abo
uyitheka kamnanzi man master ngoba there's another issue as well maybe he can't be in that line to mention ukuthi should players take pay cuts and everything but what's your take on that because I don't want you to maybe say only football there's basketball that they're involved in there is also in this time of the year in this crisis you know I think the country is doing everything possible government different organization to put something together like my sports master in terms of cuts when you talk about salary cut it's something huge but we are not as a let's make this clear we're not a country that currently that is fully professional time is against us but what's your take to that we're semi-professional should be the salary cuts to teams even in basketball and other teams not only in football
no pay cuts I was hoping ukuthi cishe onke lama associations ukhuluma ngabo athletics association kube ngiyo lama associations la khokha le mali ahamba anika labo labeswele ngicabanga ukuthi uma pay cuts kulama athletes against it la khaya cause abaholi kakhulu.
There you have it. Linda Dlamini, our in-house expert, and of course giving us his deep details on how he thinks situation should be dealt with when it comes to sponsorship. Thank you very much, Dlamini, for being here, and we always appreciate your presence. Wow, there you have it. Time is against us, of course. As we kicked off the show, we talked to one of the local basketball star, Mr. Piri, who gave us the in-depth about his career and about the academy, and then went on to have Meshach Masego from Eswatini MTN to give us some of the details about sponsorship and basically talking about what's going to happen if the season was to start afresh and how much can they lose as an organization. And of course, Linda Dlamini giving us a wrap up on how things are going. Now, as we go into this, of course, next Monday, we're going to get other sporting personnel. Will it be another sporting code? You can find that it's cycling. It could be swimming. So wait and see. It's going to be a surprise another time, another place. Otherwise, Libo Eswatini is still present on Thursday. Nothing has changed as we also fight against the COVID-19. Sporting personnel, sporting activities, go out there, keep encouraging people to go there. Together, we'll win this war. Good night.